How far?
I'm in the Trading Hub live session.
Good morning, everyone. So we'll be kickstarting very, very fast. Because, like I said, Monday morning session are always long because I'm dealing with lower time frame. So if you look at this, look at this people coming late. All right. So looking at this now, it did not get to this is what I'm expecting here. If you are swinging now, you'll be having your entry around here. But today we are dealing majorly with scalps. So I'll be deleting that so that I don't confuse you. So looking at this now, after this break and that expansion, you can clearly see that it came back to break structure here. Now, as long as price has not gotten to this higher time frame zone, you can still buy to that level, which is why we have this other block that created this break of structure. So you can easily have something like this. I'm very sure it should give at least 3 to 4 hours. You should be giving 3 to 4 hours. So you can target here. Now looking at this now, like I said, it is 4.8 hours. So this is something that can easily play out on the lower time frame. It can easily play out. But then I am not a fan of Monday trades though. But if you're a lower time frame trade, this is a very good place to buy back to this area, possibly get to that higher time frame bearish order block. Do you understand that? So once it gets to this order block, you most likely sell back towards this area. You most likely sell back towards this area. But let's see what the market decides to do this week. But this is a valid setup on the lower time frame because it created that break of structure. Hope that is clear. So that is that for this, let's see, similar vibe too, but there was no break of structure. There was no break of structure. So what was valid on AUD USD is not entirely valid on AUD card. So it's my play out and it's my not. But for this is 50-50. But this is 50-50 and there's an inducement. So you might have something like this too. With a 5-hour setup. Something here too. Then this is the lower time frame, so there will be plenty point of interest. You just need to know what you are looking for. This also looks good. This also looks good considering this break here. Let's see what the market decides to do before cat chef. So like I said, this one has already played out on the higher time frame. See, and it's still bearish. But let me delete that. Then I'll go back to my 15 minutes. Now what do I see? There's a break. Let's see a break here too. If at all I'm trying to sell them, this is most likely be selling for. Possibly sell back. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Monday trades. This is not entirely an A+ setup. But then it looks most likely to play out considering this break and it's coming back here and rejecting on the higher time frame. Without block. Luckily, so as long as this area is not broken, it should most likely drop from here and down. But let's see what happens. Like I said, it's not an A+ setup, and I'm not a fan of Monday trades. Monday trades are usually very, very crazy, especially London session. I prefer to see what the especially the London session. I like to see what the London session will do. Then and I will look for my setups in the New York session. So, but this is actually a good setup. But let's just see what the market decides to do. But then I'm not a fan of Monday trades, so I might most likely not take that. So the only thing we have business with is still the lower time frame. So I'll delete this now. And on the higher time frame, it's still on these people. It's still on the downtrend. So let me delete this. Those that joined yesterday's session already didn't understand what we did there. So back to our 15 minutes, because that's where we have business with. So now it has filled that imbalance. It has filled it. But normally, one would expect price to come back around here. Because this has been mitigated also. Well, this has been mitigated. It's the only unmitigated one. So I might have something like this. Now the target's in. This isn't actually bad though. 6 hour trade. But then looking at this, it's looking like the trend is changing. I always try not to trade against the trend. So you can call this a shift. I'll call this a vehicle structure and another breaking. I'm just trying to see it more clearly. And this is the most recent and then we shifted the you can see vehicle structure here. So then the downtrend, so it's valid, it's actually valid. I just wanted to be sure. But the market can sell from any area here. That's why the market is dynamic. Market can sell from anywhere here. So if I was trading on like a 1 hour, I'll most likely be having this whole area like this. I'll most likely be having something like this. And this is a 3 hour trade. So you can trade more comfortable. You might just use this and come back for this and you can decide to use this area and drop. But then as long as you have your 3 hour or more, you're still very good. But looking at this, expect it to reject from this area, then come back down. But if it breaks this area, then it should most likely continue up to probably this area here. Well, let's see what the market decides to do. But I am not a fan of Monday trades. So let's continue with this. Okay. It's looking more like a downtrend. Now, this came to break here. Now it has created this here. It has come back from this and it has rejected. So just this movement alone has already given 3 hour. So you can see the broke structure came back for that other block. And there was some adjustments before it. So now this one has already done 3 hour. This one has already done the 3 hour. So she most likely drop down. So it's after it drops down, you can now start looking for any other thing. Or when you follow the trend, you can see break, 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 came back again. Should most likely break again and continue the downtrend. Should most likely break and continue the downtrend. Then you start looking for more sales. Look for more sales. So then you might have to like go down to like the 5 minutes. Probably use this area to sell. But then this is a very clean 3 hour setup. Very, very clean. I clearly see it. Use this. Use this for that one. So that's that. This one's already running. I'm expecting it to break this. Most definitely it should. So that's that for Euro AUD. The next one is Euro card. Let's see what the I have here. Okay. So on the 1 hour, it's still on an uptrend. Clearly on an uptrend. So I see no reason why I should be looking for sales. So clearly on an uptrend. But let's see what the market decides to do, because this candle can be very common. It can be very, very common. But let's go to the 15 minutes and see. And see what it's doing, multiple points of interest. So I need to see what the market does inside this area. Because this is an higher time frame demand. So I need to see what the market will do inside this area. But this looks the most valid for now. But let's see where the market reacts from. This is also unmitigated. This is unmitigated. Why is it not clicking? So let me delete this. This is unmitigated. Clearly a possible buy area for on the lower time frame. Even this is unmitigated. It has too many points of interest. You just need to look this to see which it reacts from. But if you're trading the higher time frame, you most likely be marking them together. But let's see what the market does. But the market should most likely get back here. Looks most definitely safe, not likely. It's definitely coming for this area. Then you now see where it reacts from before you now decide to join the movement. So market is definitely coming back for this area, this one specifically. Definitely coming back for that place. But let's see how it goes. This is how many are. Let's see. This is a 4 hour setup. Marking them together because today is Monday. You have to be very, very careful. But should most likely get back in. Let me adjust it to this area. So this is a 4 hour setup. So expect price to get into this area, don't buy. Can clearly see it on an uptrend. Clearly on an uptrend. Clearly on an uptrend. So let's see what happens. So EG is still moving. I showed you guys this yesterday. It's still moving. But if at all, there's nothing here for now. Just in the market to give you a proper structure. There's really nothing here for now. Because this has been tapped into, this has been tapped into, this has been tapped into. So we just need to see more breaks to the upside, first of all, before we can decide to do anything. Okay, for this one. So we just need to see that break first. We need to see that break, the break of this area. So that will confirm that we are still fully much bullish. But then it's ignored this, So you can still decide to come for those areas. So, but then I wouldn't be looking for anything inside here. I need it to come to this points of interest or break this structure. Then we figure out what the market wants to do. Because you can clearly see there are breaks and these are demand areas. So let's see what happens within the rest of the week. Which is let's see what do I have? So I showed you guys this yesterday that I missed this buy. It was a QMLM entry as a model. But then that's also broken here too. And that's a signal of a bullish continuation, the broke structure here. So you can clearly see that we are still bullish. So technically, I'll still be looking for more buys. Let me remove this first. So I'll still be looking for more buys around here. But I still feel the market needs to feel that imbalance and probably come back for this other group. So we'll be having something like this. So in the long run, we might have something like this. But then it is not 100%. Like I said, I need Monday to just give me a proper structure. My trading week usually starts on Tuesdays because Monday structures usually follows what happened on Friday. So the market can decide to fill this imbalance and come for this other block or just break structure here. Then you start looking for probably a breaker block entry or another block that will create for you around here. Because if this area breaks this structure, then you might be using this to continue the momentum. But then I won't be looking for anything for now. I won't be looking for anything for now, except you want to trade on the 5 minutes. And if you're trading on the 5 minutes, you should have had your entry around here. Because these had already mitigated this. You can clearly see.
Okay.
Who is that person? Because it has already been mitigated. You can clearly see. So this is the only unmitigated one, and that's where it came from. After it had already shifted and broken structure on the 5 minutes. So everything actually works, regardless of the time frame. So you can clearly see how it came for this. Came for that area nicely. And it's already moving. So normally this will be your target. And that's how many are. Let's see. That's 5.83. So this is a clean buy setup on the 5 minutes. So like I said, if I was trying to swing on the higher time frame, I won't be having entries like this. But this is a very good setup on the 5 minutes. You can clearly see the shift. You can clearly see the shift, the break of structure, the expansion, came back for the other block. This had already been mitigated. So it came for this last one here. And it's pushing it to most likely break this as it's continuing. It has already done how many hours now? It has already done 2 hours already. So that's the thing about lower time frame setups. You'll always find them, regardless of the market condition. But on the 15 minutes, you can see it too. You can see that this was clearly mitigated. So it came for this shift reconstruction, imbalance, other block. So that's that. So let's go to GG. So I showed you this yesterday also. This was the setup that's currently playing out on the 4 hours. So it's clearly bullish on the 4 hours. So if you're trying to sell, you most likely be trading against the trend. Even on the 1 hour, it aligns properly. So you can see. So on the lower time frame, you should be looking for buys because even the trend is still bullish on the lower time frame. You can clearly see this created that high, and it came back for this original. Came back for this original, and that's what the market is doing. So even this should give like 3 hours. Let's see, it's giving similar vibe to that euro trade. And it was supposed to give like 3 hours. So if you're trying to join, you could have still joined the trade. It was very clear. Because there was bricks and another eye was created. There was an expansion coming back to the other block. So this is also a very clean move. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Monday trades. But most times on Mondays, you should most likely be looking at lower time frame trades more. If at all you want to trade on Mondays, but if you're trying to look for good setups that will take you during the week, you should be starting from Tuesdays. And that's just the bitter truth. So let's go to GU. Most of the price action is literally the same. Literally the same. You can clearly see that breakthrough because of that imbalance that was created. If you go to the 1 hour, you clearly see one will be expecting that price to come back for this one. But then the market is very dynamic. If we get a break here now, you get another break here, this becomes the other block to look for your entry, clearly unmitigated. So it goes like this, clearly unmitigated. So the market is reactive, you don't predict it. There's nothing at all. But if you go back here now on the 5 minutes, you probably have seen this. Probably want to enter around here. I was trading this. This is what I'm looking for my entry. And this will be my target. That's how many hours of this 6 months something. So I was trading on the 5 minutes. I'll be having my entry because of this. Why is it not clicking? Because of this and this and this. So that's shift break expansion coming back for this area. And for this now, there are two major points of interest. This is also valid. This area is also valid. But then it looks most likely to pick this out, just bounce. But this is also valid. So if you are going back to the 15 minutes now, you most likely want to use this. If you want to be more safe, you might decide to use it like this. You should still give it more than 3 hours. You should still give it more than 3 hours. At least 5 hours. So this still looks good. So I'll most likely be preferring the 15 minutes entry to the 5 minutes. It all depends on what you are looking for. This will be your subjective target, but objectively, this is your objective target here. That's the nearest TRA, the nearest target for your entry. So that's that from GU. Let's see on the chef. This one already played out. I showed you yesterday. For those that joined yesterday's session, it was very straightforward. I think it was on the 1 hour. Exactly. So it was on the 1 hour. There was inducement for it. Clearly bullish. You can clearly see inducement came back for this other block that was sitting pretty. Came for its nearest target. So if you're targeting this area, you'll have chopped this SL or break even. So targeting the right place is also very important as a trader. Very important. Very important as a trader. And that is that. So now it has broken this, and it looks like it has also changed structure. So normally we have been looking for seller. What did the market do? It came back for this breakout block, and that's where it's reacting from currently. So we have had something, probably had something like this. Nearest targets can easily get your 3 hour also by targeting this area, which looks most likely to clear out. So this is what the market is currently doing. It's trying to continue the trend. And should most likely get it. But let's see what the market decides to do. I'm not really a fan of lower time frame on this space. It really works out. So most of the time, I usually stop at the 1 hour or 30 minutes, but usually not lesser than that. So that's that for. Let me quickly do UG. That will enter gold. Now we are done for today before the time exits. So you can clearly see I showed this one also yesterday for those that joined the session. Clearly came for this other block. See the target, got there nicely, and even broke the objective one before coming down. And overall, it is still within the demand zone. It came for this unmitigated one here. You can clearly see after this one worked out. Let me delete this so that I won't confuse you. So that I will not confuse you. And it has also filled 50%. I think that's okay. It has not filled it. It has not filled 50% of that imbalance. I still expect it to get here though. So that's another factor. Let me delete this line. So you can clearly see that it came back for that unmitigated double. Clearly unmitigated. Even after doing a couple of hours, you can clearly see it came for that other block. My time is almost up. So I should still be able to do gold before we finish. So normally, we'll be targeting this. Now that's how many hours That's 7 hour. But then if it was someone like me that doesn't look for more than 3 hour, I'll most likely be closing my trade around there. But then this is the normal target. So due to that expansion, it might get there and it might not. But the market has done the needful, clearly following the structure. Very clear, very clearly following the structure. You can see it shift, break, break, break. And this one too. And it came back for it. So I expect the market to still continue going. I expect it to get here. I expect it to get there. So that's the current market movement. So if you're trying to join, you can now start looking for ways to join the movement and probably the lower time frame. Let's see, there's something there. Okay. So this is a possible area where price might come back from on the lower time frame. It can come back from this, it can come back from this, it can come back from this. But let's see what the market decides to do. So let's quickly get into gold. We are done for the day. So this one clearly missed my entry last week. But I'll not cry. I'll not cry. Remove. Let me delete that and my setup. But then that other block is still valid though. Still very much valid. Price can still come back there. Price can still come back there. And now it has even broken through. Okay, it only swept liquidity. On the lower time frame, there will be a break of structure. Okay, it broke structure actually. So you can clearly see. So price is definitely going to come down. So it can either use this. So that's where the confusion lies now. Those are the two. If at all I want to look for a buy on gold, it's either here or here. It can use any of the two. They are both very valid. They are both very, very valid as fuck. They are very, very valid. So price can use this, can use this. So whichever one the market decides to do, it's now left for the market, but price should most likely come back towards this area. Then it will now buy back to this area here. Then it's most likely sell from here back to this area. That is what I expect. So I expect price to come back here, then sell towards this area on the higher time frame. On the lower time frame, I still expect price to come back for this point of interest. Either of the two should come for either of the two. But on the 15 minutes, is there something? I see no reason to be buying there. You should only be looking for sales towards that demand area. You should be looking for sales towards that area. Should be looking for sales towards that area. Let's see. Let's see the 5 minutes. Still bearish. Still looks bearish. But like I said, for gold, that is my playbook. I have to wait. I have to wait. I don't trust anything around here for now. Market needs to come back for that demand on the 1 hour, this and this. They are too valid for the market to ignore. I'm very sure it will not ignore any of the two. So definitely pick one of the two. So let's even see how many RR it will give us. Maybe 5 RR. This is very good. And this should give around 7 or 8 or even 10 safe. Let's see. Beside it, between 7 and 8. So if at all I'm trying to place a trade on board, it should be either on these two levels. They are too valid to be ignored. They are very, very valid. So I use this, I can use this. But I don't see any, I don't see both failing. That's the English I was looking for. I don't see both failing. I see it using one of the two. So you can have both orders down, and whichever one it picks, you still get your profit from there. But those two levels are too valid for me to be looking for what is not there. It's still in alignment. See, there's a shift, there's a break of structure, there's multiple breaks of structure. So that area is very valid as well. Very, very valid. This is a shift here, break of structure, break, break. Very valid. So that will be all for now. I'll see you tomorrow. So this recorded version will be dropped on our YouTube channel before 11. To be dropped on our YouTube before 11. So that'll be all for now. Enjoy the rest of it. And I'll drop the screenshot of all the setups too on the drop it on the group. So I'll see you tomorrow, same time by 9 a.m. I believe you've picked a thing or two from this session. I remain Olariwaju, and I'm also known as the Eminent Trader. Thank you and God bless.